Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is G. Cole, and welcome to Homegrown, where I get to share with you some good music while talking to some great people. Hello, world. Hope you're feeling as good as I am. I want to big up all my homegrown listeners out there and welcome all the new listeners. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do, so we can keep you updated when new material is available. We will be posting new episodes bi-weekly. This is episode 8.
Thank you for your arms of protection. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want to make sure that I can lie down in green pastures. My weary soul he will restore. With my heart in his hand he leads me by the still water. Yeah, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. If my feet should slip and I fall, his staff will correct, and he'll come to my rescue. From his arms no one can tear me apart. He'll come to my rescue. Won't tell the wicked man his plans are gonna fall. He'll come to my rescue. With his angels I'm moving forward. Come to my rescue. Jehovah guide me with his strength and with his arms. Poverty sticks to righteous while the wicked fight the just. Yes, them draw for them gun, have no regard for the poor man and them sons. But still Jah looks down from above, laughs on his throne, cause he knows him I go work it out for the ones who fully trust in him. And yeah, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. If my feet should slip and I fall, his staff will correct, and he'll come to my rescue. From his arms no one can tear me apart. He'll come to my rescue. Won't tell the wicked man his plans are gonna fall. He'll come to my rescue.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. We have a special guest inside the studio tonight. We have, and I wrote this down before just to make sure I didn't mess it up. I feel a little anointing, you know what I mean? You do bring that aura, you know what I mean? And I know you're all over the world right now promoting the new album, Songs from Zion.
Yes,
which I
thank
have.
you.
And I love.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kristine Alicia.
Yeah. Not a mercy.
Welcome. This is the Homegrown Studios. And like I mentioned earlier, I enjoy talking to people that are smarter than I am. I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. And we're here because the topic, gospel music versus inspirational music, the topic is really, is it expansion
Oh, that's why you call me
or is it departure? Yeah.
Ambush.
She wasn't ready.
I thought it was a talk about my album.
We'll do that too, you know. But, you know, you have the gossip media. Them love the thing, you know, so we have to get it that way there, you know what I mean? We gotta flip it up a little bit,
Okay, so you know, we might as well talk about it because people have been inboxing and asking me some questions, and I might as well. So go on, true.
I see the records on your Facebook page.
All right, so, okay.
I see it. So we're going to get into some songs prior to getting into your new album.
Okay.
And they're kind of, I want to say by choice, a certain specific few chosen for a reason so we can segue into certain things. But I'm going to keep it going. Cool. And then we're going to come back. We're going to talk to the masses about what's going on with Kristine Alicia.
Cool.
All right? So keep it moving, keep it grooving. It's Homegrown. Love me some Chevelle. Yep.
Oh, this is a good song.
The music about Jesus
And that one is Radio is Playing It by Chevelle Franklin. You know what I mean? Love, 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 love her stuff. Kristine Alicia is here again, ladies and gentlemen. There's a big convo going on right now. I think it started, and I might be wrong, so you can correct me. I think it started in the hip-hop gospel community, and I'd say it made its way over to the reggae gospel community, this whole gospel versus inspirational. The first question I have is, what's gospel music and what is inspirational? What's the difference?
Well, I think there's so many ways to answer that because people, even when I moved from Jamaica to America, I realized when I was in college that people didn't even know that that reggae could be classified as gospel. That up here,
Right.
gospel is not gospel, it's a sound. It's like a black traditional church
Right.
sound. That's gospel.
Shirley Caesar.
So I was like, wait, that's what you call gospel? I know gospel as, remember, the group Change?
Yep.
You remember that group?
Yep.
So I just saw gospel as if it's Christian music or if it's the gospel of Jesus Christ. And it
Gotcha.
don't matter the rhythm or the beat. So I think some people still see it that way. You have to really, I think if you're American, you have to first kind of, decipher that or think that. But in our terms where we know that's not the issue, we consider it's either Christian or mainstream secular. So I think that's where the discussion is now, right? And I just want to clarify that one. That's what
Right,
you're
right.
asking, right?
That's exactly
Okay.
what it is. But based on what you're saying right now, I also I'm thinking that
Yeah.
there's probably a different based on culture in terms of the conversation being had in Jamaica is probably a total different conversation having here. In terms of the whole American R&B / gospel, hip hop / gospel versus Jamaica reggae / gospel.
Yeah.
Because, and maybe I'm wrong, who knows, but ignorance is bliss.
So I think that's where my issue is. I think because it changes in so many different generations. We have seen, let's just say leave gospel alone. Gospel 20 years ago when Kirk Franklin came up with his album,
Right.
when BB and CC Winans came up with their album, and they did some kind of quote-unquote risky things, it was
Right.
considered, they got a fight for it being gospel. Now, looking back now to that, is like there's no issue about that. So because it changes all the time, I think that's where
Right.
I want to let people realize what are we fighting and what are we arguing about. And people that now are saying, well, everyone has a different rule about what gospel is supposed to be like.
I mean, funny enough, we're talking about it now, 2017. But now that you said that, I remember having this conversation when Kirk Franklin came out with Stomp and all them stuff. And my view on it pretty much was, it's cool because you know what? Somebody in an avenue, in an area that would have never paid attention to gospel music,
Yeah.
just got some gospel music slid to them and on the slide.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was my view on it. But I can also see why it's a little different when it comes to Jamaica because in Jamaica, when they talk about roots reggae music, Rastafarianism, stuff like that, it's almost gospel.
So I think that's where people can now have this debate, and actually where I feel like we have to always be ready to listen to people. Because
Right.
some people will say, G. Cole is talking pure foolishness, right?
Right.
But I reached that place where you have to just take off the labels, okay? Take off the labels. Because when Luciana sing, if Jah is standing by my side, why should I be afraid, right? Correct? To me, those lyrics alone is
Right.
what is the
Is what's
gospel.
gospel.
But people would say it's not gospel. Why? Because Luciana he's not described as what we call a Christian,
Gospel.
right? Or him not a gospel singer. But as I say, if we really think and just use our minds and stop
Right.
being so close-minded, you have to. Then it makes you rethink what the gospel is. So people now ask me, "Is Kristine's Songs from Zion a gospel album?" Sometimes I don't even know how to answer it because to me, I remember my manager was telling me, "Yo, Kristine, I think this is a straight-up gospel album." Rory tell me, "This is a straight-up gospel album."
Right.
He didn't even have the intention to that. He just gave me the freedom to write the lyrics for the song. But it's whatever come out of my heart. I was not trying to make it a gospel album. I was just writing like how they do at Rescue, right?
Right.
It just come from my heart. It come from the psalm. But at the end of the day, it don't matter what it's called. It comes
The
from
message.
what I'm listening to and the message and whatever. If you want to call it gospel, it's gospel because it's without a label. It is the gospel is what? Good news. You ask what the definition of gospel. To me, the gospel it don't matter. It don't matter where it come from. It don't even matter who sing it.
I mean, I agree.
It don't matter
I
who
agree.
sing it. And I feel like I can back that up with certain examples. If you believe in Jesus, right? Let's just say if.
Right.
If you believe in him as a good role model, and if you even take his words seriously, I mean, he has shown us how people who are not quote unquote label Christians can speak the good news and can actually say good news and actually can, show his principles. There are people that have been completely, even people that we say wrote certain things in the Bible, like
Right.
Paul. They have quoted other people that are not Christian, but that is considered the gospel. So we just have to be careful about that. The source, of course, has to be genuine, but the words and the principle, the good news is what I call the gospel. And to me, Luciana can sing it, Kristine Alicia can sing it, Shepherd Franklin can sing it, G. Cole can sing it. I don't know if it matters.
Eventually. It's something I've always wanted to do, I've never wanted to be a gospel artist because I just felt it would be ingenuine of me.
Okay.
But I've always wanted to do a gospel record. I've always wanted to do a gospel album.
I think anybody can do a gospel record.
I've got stuff to be thankful for.
I just... Anyway,
So,
go on with the questions.
trust me. No, I kid you not.
I think everybody should be thankful.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. On my first album and my second album,
Yeah.
I've always felt like I need to. First of all, I just completed a record.
Mm-hmm.
The record may cost me $10,000 for complete. I just did that. I couldn't have done it on my own, so I have something to be thankful for.
Yes.
So I always have at least one record on there.
That's good.
That to me is gospel. I know the world won't see it as gospel. I'm not gonna lie, a little hypocritical part on my part in terms of I made sure I inserted the word Jah instead of the word God.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
okay,
And it's
okay.
not that I'm
So you feel as hypocritical?
to some degree because of the fact that within me I wanted a gospel record, but the truth is it's not about God, Jesus, Jah, whatever. You know what? The reason why I inserted that word instead?
Yeah.
It just sound vibesy.
Oh.
I kid
Well,
you
that's
not.
interesting that you said. So that means that I can understand the people that came flacked against me because there were some people that were surprised and said, why did that? They thought I was intentional in saying Jah
Right.
instead of God. So so now hearing you saying that, if you felt like you're hypocritical, then they must have thought I was being hypocritical. So it's your perception of the strength of Jah versus God.
It's because to me, pretty much, Jah is another translation. Jah to me,
Okay.
people really want to say Jehovah, but it's just too long for putting online.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And that's some of the reasons why.
That's
I mean,
how
there
it
were
is.
some that I was like, Jah relates to my people. I identify myself as a reggae artist.
Right.
And reggae to me, and that's like you said, most of the time it's a vibes thing. And
Yep.
I want to speak the language of my people.
That's where
Simple
I'm at.
as that.
That's where I'm at.
And like you said, I don't think Jah holds any less weight than the word God.
It's I guess the traditionalists may beg to differ.
Yeah.
Because I tell you this, my mom would love that record.
If it didn't have Jah.
No, she love it as it is.
Okay.
My grandma got fire on it though.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But my grandma died at 102, so you know what I mean. She got a tempo bias, she got word bias, she got all kind of things going on. That's
Yeah.
biasing out the thing. But I see where people are coming from. Me, I'm not worried about what the world thinks. It's just because I knew that I always wanted to put out some form of like a gospel sounding record on there, and I should probably say sounding, not gospel sounding.
Okay.
I have one on the first album, the very last record on there. That one I mentioned, I don't even know if I mentioned Jaina, but it was just my appeal. It was my proclamation from my soul, how I feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To the point where it was so potent from me that I didn't write two verses. I just repeat the same verse. It was one of them scenarios. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I in the back of my mind, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. So that's why I said within me, it kind of felt kind of hypocritical. But I'll tell you this though. I see where people come from when they question that because it's a departure from them and what they know.
Okay.
And a lot of time, I think people reflect their own insecurities on others, on those people out there that are in the limelight. No different from athletes. Why you know what I mean? Why you care what the man look like on TV? He's an athlete. He's not supposed to be raising a child. I think it's the same thing. That's just me. That's just me.
Yeah, so that goes on to like another
A total different.
topic. But yeah, so I mean, so that's my definition of gospel. Once the message is giving good news and hope,
Well,
which I
I like
believe.
that.
Yeah.
Sounds nice. I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna
Sounds
steal
nice.
That might be a nice song right there.
I mean, okay. So in the discussion, I think that we both that you've been talking about between the gospel versus inspirational. Some people have said to me, no, the gospel is explicitly mentioning the creed of Christianity or
Right.
the creed of Jesus Christ. I believe and I understand that, but I think the creed of Christianity, the most important thing if you're a follower of Jesus is
Right.
that was his actions and his examples more than his him going out there and stuffing down the letter of the law.
Don't you think?
So to me, I think what the expectations of people, I've heard them say that, well, your songs don't explicitly say this. They want to explicitly say that if you don't do this, you're going to go to hell. And then because I don't believe that, unfortunately, it is not classified as that. However, I feel very proud of Songs from Zion because I feel like that God make me as Kristine Alicia to have not everybody going to do the message the same way.
Right.
And I'm not trying to force anybody to look at my way. I think the most important thing as humans is, if at anything, give them a piece of bread and water. And the bread and water is hope and just something to make them get through the next day, right? Wow. I believe that that's the most important thing, hope, to make them also, because at the end of the day, if they can have bread and water and hope for the next day, I firmly believe that God will reveal them. God will reveal himself. He said that he will reveal himself. He will make sure him will do it. And whether it's through the tree, it's through the water, it's through nature, at the end of the day, Romans 8 said that he will reveal himself. So I believe that Songs from Zion, I give them like what Psalms, like what David was doing. David when David had his own experience with God. Right. I believe that when you have your own experience with God and people see it and people watch it, they in turn will feel it, and the experience is more important. I said the other day how music is like, our life is an experience. Right. Our music is a language. I want to be able to talk to you properly. When I talk to you, G. Cole, I'm not going to stuff nothing down your throat. Right. Because you know what the truth of the matter is, if we all do that and we stuff our own truths down each other's throat, we're not going to love each other. I just have to respect you and I have to respect you, because we all come from different backgrounds. Right? The problem, what I want to disassociate myself with, is the fact that I'm stuck to this one label, because in that one label, everybody have 5 different thought processes. And in that one label, everybody fighting each other. And I just got so sick and tired of it. I got so sick and tired of seeing what we're fighting for. And we say we believe the same thing. And then so we cut off. I say, you know what? I don't want to be bothered. I mean, if you want to call me a gospel artist, sure. Right. But at the end of the day, it don't mean anything if it's just a title. What am I doing? That's the politics in religion too. It's just I don't even. Trust me, those are battles I've fought all my life, you know. Yeah, and I don't want, and I do politics in everything. Right. So I mean, but we are musicians, and we have to deal with that politics. But the truth of the matter is, at the end of the day, I don't want to deal with it. I don't have the time for that. Right. My life. I want to enjoy my music, and I want to share my music with you. And if we're going to fight about all those political things, I don't want to. But I do know that the most important thing, that we both need hope. Right. We both need a connection with the higher power that for us to get through this life. And we are both learning. And all we can do is cry out to God for help. I'm learning right now. The way you put it right now, I think we're done. We can wrap up. I'm trying to be as concise as possible, because I know you have music to play. And you are. And you know what? That's fine, because you know what? I'll be honest with you, and I normally don't say this. A lot of times the music helps make the program flow, but sometimes the music can hinder too, you know. So me having this music to play, I don't want it to interrupt me hearing what you're saying, because I'm really, really... Is you ambush me, so I ambush you back. Apparently so. This is a case of gamble and lose. So, I mean, it is what it is. But on that note, you know what I mean, we'll play some more tunes. That's what, you know what I mean, to keep the vibe going. So, you know what I mean, for everybody out there, don't go nowhere. Keep it moving. Keep it grooving. It's Homegrown.
Lord, I'm interceding for your people now. Lord, I'm crying out for all the people now. Lord, I'm bawling out for all the people now. So listen to my cry. Long time we not have no nice time. The police and the thugs, them like the city at night time. And every evening we turn to prime time. See prophecies fulfilling, cause we know this at end time. The Bible tell we say the people them did not be suffer. And here the turban tongues, and now we see the dirty tougher. For all the wicked and the righteous, things getting tougher. So the Father we are go for, Father God help, Father God help. For all the youths, I mean, the struggle, in the ghetto, in the slum, now help, Father God help. For all the mothers where you ball and all the mood because of picnic dead, help, Father God help. For all the fathers we work so hard and still keep on the food for eat, help, Father God help. We interceding for your people, Father help me now. The whole of people them remember the good times, the nice times, the right times, and even the fun times. Never used to sing the songs with the gun rhymes, the good old days when love the depth on the front line. All the babies and the sucklings make we come together, and show the wise them how God say we feel love one another. Not religion or a who for preaching style we prefer. For the youth them way I suffer, Father God help, Father God help. For all the youth them in the struggle, in the the ghetto, in the slum now. Help, Father God, help. For all the mothers we are mourn and all about because I pick the dead. Help, Father God, help. For all the fathers we are work so hard and still can't find the food for eat. Help, Father God, help. We interceding for the people, Father, help me now. For all who think them have no hope and no future, just give your life to Jesus Christ, now watch them bad youth, yeah. Love your family, love your neighbors, love your enemy. That is how the Father tell us it's supposed to be. You think so wickedness about, well you not see wicked yet. When you hear the trumpet sound, make sure you not go regret. And when you hear the roller call, make sure you not go get left. Let Jesus Christ clean up your mess, so Father God help, Father God help. For all the youths, I mean, the struggle, in the ghetto, in the slum, now help, Father God help. For all the mothers, we are mourn and all about because I'm picking the dead. Help, Father God help. For all the fathers, we are work so hard until can't find the food to eat. Help, Father God help. We interceding for the people, Father help me now. Help, Father God help. For all the youths, I mean, the struggle, in the ghetto, in the slum, now help, Father God help. For all the mothers, we are mourn and all about because
Yeah, man, that's Omari with Help. Another tune I really like. You know what I mean? I have questions and so forth, but I'm kind of even going back to where we're coming from, Kristine Alicia, and talking about the CM. We I don't even want to say beating the dead horse because it is pretty important. But this question can be somewhat rhetorical. Christians, right? I guess dictionary I'm almost sure would describe Christians as those who follow Christ,
Yeah.
right? Or try to live Christ-like. And then gospel would be pretty much, gospel is described in the dictionary pretty much as the teachings of Christ. And of course, following the first, mostly based upon the first 4 Bibles of the New Testament and so forth. So if Christ-like is pretty much, if you're being a Christian to make you Christ-like, then I guess doing gospel or spreading the gospel would be pretty much singing a certain type or speaking a certain type of
Right.
thing. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so I agree with that in theory. Then, but the problem is that people define gospel or how spreading of the gospel goes. That's where the problem is. So those 2 statements are correct.
Right.
So I think where the discussion comes is, okay, that you are not gospel if you're not doing it this way. And then everyone has a different way of spreading the gospel. So like, I don't know what kind of church you grew up in, but I remember growing up.
Church of God.
Okay, so you maybe might be familiar of, I don't know if you call it the EE witnessing method where you go from door to door and you talk to them.
Sound like some Jehovah's Witness
Well,
thing.
that's Jehovah, but they also had this thing called evangelical something. And I remember growing up in my church and we were trained to witness that way. And you go,
Wow.
right, so serious visits. And so some people would say that, and you were actually told that if you don't do this, you're not fulfilling the call because Jesus said that you need to go into all the world and preach the gospel. Wow. No, so that would make a lot of people be in trouble because I know a lot of people who don't do that, right? We don't go from door to door. Or in a conversation we don't, but they're saying that you're not doing your duty. Here's what I feel about that. I believe that because Jesus made it clear that you can do that and you're still not even, your heart not right, that is not the litmus test. The litmus test, and I believe that, and I can only speak for myself and my learning experiences and how I grew up. Because I grew up in the church, and I say, holy for that, right? Holy for that, right? And then the character is so farce and false, and I believe stink to God.
So that's not church? That's not how I go?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So because I can only speak from my
it sounds pretty normal to
I
me.
believe at the end of the day, since if you want it, the gospel is defined by how you live your life, the example you live, because you can preach till kingdom come, and it don't mean nothing because if your preaching don't match up with the character, it don't mean nothing. So if that's the life, so if I'm a musician now, right, and I say I think there are 2 choices. First of all, of course, I want music to reflect my life, but let's just say there's also a category of people who say I can't have my life and my music is just my career. I just want to sing about partying like G. Cole.
Right.
Party.
Not sexy love.
Exactly, right. And that's fine. That's his career. And when him come to him wife, him love him wife, and him treat him wife good, and have good character, and that's his life. 2 separate, and he go church Sunday morning.
Right.
That's his decision. of course, then there are other musicians who are just like, but they want their music to reflect. But I'm not, I've never been in my life to be like, yo, G. Cole, come, let's go read the Bible, and you're better than this, and you better come to church with me, and you're this. I've never
That's
been
how
like
you push
that.
people away.
That's some people's opinion. But I don't even, it's not even about that. That's just not me. That's just
Right.
never been me. But
So it's not the
but
faith, it's not the, it's Kristine Alicia.
So I don't know, but I do believe that because I experienced so much hope, and if I experienced heartache and cry, for example, in the song, if I went through an experience where I feel like, you know what, I went through a heartache, but then I feel like God did show up, I go and sing about that. If I feel like I never felt like I could ever find a good man, but then I'm a good man show up, I go and sing about Keylok. That's the kind of that's the kind of vibes that I believe in. And then to me, my lifestyle, and if I call myself a gospel artist, and I go on the road and I treat the tour person horrible, or I treat a guest horrible, that to me has defamed everything I just stand for. So I think it just does not matter, because I've seen it both ways. I've seen gospel artists go on a certain way.
Call the name them.
I will never do that. I don't need to. But I've seen. But you want sus and you want.
Trust
gospel.
me. No, I said that because you're absolutely right.
Right. So
Absolutely right. And I've seen it.
And so to me, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I do know that people will want to be attached to the spirit I'm connected to if you treat them right.
No, it's true. It's true. And I agree with you 110%, because I know artists and I know people who, I don't want to call them secular, them to live them life. And I also know those people who are firmly rooted on a ritualistic basis, which is pretty much
Go church every Sunday morning,
you know
Wednesday
what I mean?
night, Thursday night, Tuesday Bible study.
If I have a Bible somewhere in the purse, something like that. And they don't live, like you said, the lifestyle. I'm the neighbor, remember, I live next door.
Recite every single verse.
Back and forth.
And around and upside down.
Yeah. But the lifestyle does not reflect. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like there are two persons here. There's a representative that goes out there and reflect and represent what they want people to see, and then they come home and it's chaos. But I mean, from a musical standpoint, and I've done marketing and so forth in my career and so forth. So vehicles broken up into categories: coupes, sedans, minivan, SUV, whatever. Houses into categories: townhouses, single family, stuff like that. Music. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, you smarter than me now.
It's also broken up into genres. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. Go on. Sure.
But you can't get away from that, because the reason is target marketing.
Yeah.
Radio plays certain genres more than they do others. And I kind of feel like, this is just my feeling, a lot of artists shun the title of certain titles because it hinders sales, marketability, and so forth. The first example I saw that was Neo Soul.
Okay.
A lot of artists came out and they loved the concept of Neo Soul because it was earthy and it was a little bit, it was genuine. And then afterwards it didn't sell, so don't call me Neo Soul no more. I'm just an artist. So I guess, how much does commercialism, marketability, factor in the conversation as to why more than ever people are now shunning the title of gospel artist?
I must say from personal experience, I don't know. In terms, so sales has never been a big thing because I'm an independent artist.
Right.
I would love for the sales to be huge, but I can't even say that I was a determining factor for me to say, let's not think there. That had nothing to do with it.
Right.
I do know that if we were to talk about success in a small term, that I would have probably just been done better, and it would be more safe.
Right.
To stick it, because I had invested so many years under that
gospel?
title. Yeah, under that title. And then the truth is, there is a market for everything. There is a market for gospel, and if you stick to that, you can. And if you stick to it and become the best in that market, you're gonna, because there are gospel station that will not play nothing else if it's not straight up in your face gospel. Right. I've had some, I know that is a fact. It's not no gray line, and there's a market for that. Just like what you said, there's a format. They have a format. So you can, and if you do your BMI properly, ask her properly, you're going to get your royalties if it played on that radio all the time. And if it's a good song, if it's a good gospel song.
You got gospel CDs selling platinum, double, triple platinum.
And they know their strategy. They know the strategy. They're making their money. It's not anything. So it's not, I don't know. I do know that I would, and you would hear any gospel musician say this or artist say that compared to mainstream shows, gospel shows, you don't get as much pay for the live shows as much.
Right.
So that may deter some. I know in our small circle, I do know that myself and a couple of my friends have been very frustrated because it is not everyone does this, and I'm going to say everyone does, but there's a majority, or there's a feel that every time a gospel promoter call you, is usually that them can't pay you, or they ask you to do it for free. And you continuously. And that, I think people have been speaking out about that. So I want to give, I think it's a good thing that people have been standing up for it. And I believe it's changing.
Right.
I believe it's changing, but it still has been a problem, or it was a problem where everything, but whereas the mainstream promoters, they don't play. They know them have to pay you.
Right.
So, two different things. So you see how it's two different ways it can work. It can be a money maker, and good, it can work out for you, especially if you're in it for a while and you're really pushing it. For me, I knew if I did stick to the label, I wouldn't be this. Me, I knew it was a risk. I knew I was gonna lose a lot, kind of.
By remaining on the label.
By saying I don't need to have that label.
I gotcha. Well, I mean, it's and again, I even look at it when people talk about conscious rap. I think there's no such thing as that's not a genre. I think pretty much what it is it's
not a genre. I thought common was conscious rap.
Yeah, but well, let me say, saying it's not a genre. That's my view, and it's all marketability. When you talk about conscious rap, people put themselves in that category for a reason, because you know something, I'm gonna be the big fish in this little pond over here, instead of me going over there in that big ocean and being a little tiki to try and make the thing go on, because it sells, and this whole concept. If you're the big guy in the conscious market, you know, if that wasn't the case, then the album would be free.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But this is why it boils down to this. Every artist, you have to really do what you love and you're passionate and you believe in, and then make people call it what they will, because otherwise you're going to be thrown back and forth, and whether it pay you or it don't pay you, you're going to be stuck at the end of the day living your life doing something that you don't love, or it's going to be like a daily sacrifice and committing suicide if you don't love what you're doing. If I held myself to the standards of the four corners of what this definition of gospel was,
right,
I would be miserable. If I stood, I'm saying by the four corners of, I'm explicitly saying by the four corners of that.
Right.
I don't believe I'm in the four corners of what the definition of that is anymore.
I don't disagree. And the other thing I've always said too is, when it comes to music and genres, a lot of times the lyrics is not what dictate the genre, you know. It's the instrumental. It's the instrumentation. Because truth be told, I give a perfect example. My brother does hip hop, right? I don't. No, my grandmother, like I said, when she passed, she was 102 years old. Christian lady. Probably born in one church, and
I want to live to 102.
I don't know. But but the thing is, when I'd bring music home, I'd play it so she could check it out. Now, my grandmother person, is she going to tell you she loves the music? Probably not. But she'll tell you she sucks. Yeah. You know what I mean? No matter what my brother brought home, and he's got some real deep conscious lyrics, but she have her tempo bias. You know what I mean? Ballads, Jesus. Yes. Mid-tempo, you cross the line. Hip-hop, devil. You know what I'm saying? That's the three categories our grandma roll in.
I feel like there's always a fight. Because I remember when I was on our worship team, there was a discussion about what was worship and what was praise. Like, I remember that. So I'm just like, you can't really, like, there's always, because everyone has done a discussion. Like, if it's too fast, it's not, you can't be worshiping. I don't know if you know the song Philistine. Okay, so Philistine was one of my old songs. I'll call it.
Is that the one?
I did it with Papa San. Yes. So
yeah, I know that
Philistine,
song.
and that's when I was under that level of gospel, right? So, but even that, I remember singing it in our church. And at first it was getting like a lot of flack. How could you be singing this song? This doesn't even sound, blah, blah, blah. And me and Sam was like, what? It was straight up, like the word was silly. It was straight from the Bible. But of course, to some people's ears, they couldn't handle it. And so I remember I was being banned from singing it at church, and it was part of my repertoire, part of my set list. And certain churches, I couldn't sing it. So, had to go through that. That was also a learning experience. Then, you know what? 2 years later, I remember specifically how the whole temperature changed. Philistine was being requested every single time in our set list.
Same venues.
In churches, no, because the concept started to change. People started to realize, the tempo doesn't matter. So, you know what that teach me? I can't go by what people think at the time and era.
You're
because
a trendsetter.
It changes. No, you just can't. You really have to go with the unction that God give you. You really can't. Otherwise, you're going to drive yourself crazy. Because that's how man is. Man needs rules, and man needs their own rules. They need to make up their own rules. And to me, that's why Jesus came to break you off from trying to make up all you man-made rules. Because when I'm making up rules that don't make no sense, that have nothing to do with freedom, that have nothing to do with connection to him, is your own rules that you need for your own sanity.
Wow.
For your own sanity.
Well, I'm glad you say it, because when me say this sound harsh, it's which
Ambush.
is and I've always felt that way, because I even used to talk about the dress code. It's like I went to Church of God of Prophecy, long skirt vibes, no pants, no makeup, them kind of things. Pentecost was down the street. We used to go down to Pentecost because the hotter girl in the down at Pentecost. We're not gonna lie.
See.
So we'd somehow go down there and make our way back before church was over. But down there, so them can't wear them pants, they can do them thing. You know what I mean? So, but I always felt like, okay, who made up these rules? In the Bible.
Yeah.
Is it? I mean, it's probably the pastor who created that church, and it's been passing down generation. You know, so for me, it's always a concept
it's in the Bible still, but it's just how they interpret it. They interpret it
really?
different for themselves.
That's
I mean,
why.
if I was trying to defend their case, I would have found it. But that's my point. You can always find something in the Bible. It's how they interpret it. Like
True.
the whistling, like a woman not supposed to whistle. You know, all those things can be found.
I thought it was a country thing.
They will find that. I remember someone tried to show me a verse. I was like,
So women not supposed to whistle?
I was told that growing up. Right?
I was told that too, but I just thought it was, Jamaica come from this whole ladies don't do this.
No, it was in the Bible. But that's my
real?
point. My point is, it's not really in the Bible.
It's how it's interpreted.
It's how it's interpreted. Then find a scripture to make it work.
I learned a long time ago, don't argue with a theologist, because guess what? I had a pastor, an accounts teacher who was an Adventist. And, of course, he has more knowledge of the Bible than me. I'm a 12, 13-year-old. Mm-hmm. And then I have other people who are from different churches. And that's where the politics came into play, because they knew the Bible way more than I did, which ultimately gave them the opportunity to manipulate the words. You know what I mean? And, everybody can interpret the same thing. It's like, I'm not going to lie. When I was in school, it's a private school. The cook's not the greatest. So I need to get my way outside of these things. I mean, get all kind of biblical reasons why I'm not supposed to eat that pork. You know what I mean? The Bible says you mustn't eat this. You know what I mean? You have to chew the cud and
so
have the cloven hoof.
You make it fit for what you want.
I did it. So, but again, that was just me trying to get out of some Babylon meat. People take it to a fuller extent, and it's wrong, for lack of a better word. But you're absolutely right. It does happen. It's interpretation.
And I just need to interject this really quickly, because I want to make sure that I'm clear. I am not in any way discriminating the scriptures, not in any way. I believe a lot in how much the scriptures mean to relating to our God. But what we're talking about obviously is just how man's intentions can interpret things that are so good and foundationally sacred that that the interpretation can just make us become at war, or make us become divided. And that is what I'm fighting against. Not the scriptures, and not necessarily quote unquote the essence or the goodness of what can come out of church.
Nah, I gotcha.
I wanted to be clear that whatever people take away is more about whether it don't matter what religion, whether it's Hindu, Christianity, Rastafarianism, if there's any point of restricting, of making up these rules that cause bondage when we're supposed to be free, that is what I'm against more than anything. Not necessarily the label of Christianity or the label of anything else. It is, if you are creating labels to make yourself look holier than another person, based on your own perception, that is what I can't stand.
Well, I guess that's the difference between something being contrived and something being contrite. But the thing, it's amazing because, again, tossing it up there, what's misinterpretation and what's being misconstrued, I think it's a big difference. And people using it to their own advantage. Again, it's a scenario where music's supposed to play, but I'm loving the conversation. So, it's all good. We're going to get around some of them. The other thing that was always on my mind is the irony in which the music, whether you're saying God, Christ, Jesus, whatever the case may be, sometimes the goal is just you being expressive. Sometimes it's your own salvation. Because sometimes as artists, you go there. I remember people talk about Tupac and they talk about Bob Marley. And I say, what kind of pressure this? Because the man just write a song and feel a vibe.
Right.
Him dead no. So you put your meaning on it, you interpret it a certain way, and now all of a sudden that's what he was saying. Poor Bob probably a rolling up and but just did a whole a vibe.
Good point. So here's it. I firmly believe if you have to interject God into everything, and God is the purpose of our lives and so forth, I believe that God made different people with different skills.
Right.
Musicians are created, and they could just them having a vibe and just them talking about a specific feeling or aura is giving glory to the gift He gave us.
Yep.
Right? So you just talking simply and just having a vibe, that is not deflecting from the gift God gave you. In fact, it's giving glory. That's why that's another thing. I don't feel like every song has to be about a conviction
Right.
or a belief or a conversion. I believe that there are songs that I can say, oh, what a wonderful feeling.
Right.
I believe what a wonderful morning. Oh, easy like Sunday morning. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That is
The morning that God has made.
Yeah, but and we don't even have to say easy like Sunday morning. The morning of God. Just leave it right where. Who sing it?
Lionel.
Right. Well, like how Lionel Richie sing it. Just leave it right there. So it can that moment could be just could be sacred. That's just it. It could be. So I think that we have to also just respect the musician's work, the artist's work, and say that is their gift. That's what they're doing. Let them do it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I'm hoping that the ears that need to hear are hearing, because, sometimes a lot of people think certain things and they keep it to themselves, So you're not alone in your thoughts and your thinking and your convictions, but some people just are not the ones that are going to be vocal about it. At the same time, again, I love throwing in the irony of it. The irony is we're straying away, because the purpose of outside of you doing the music for you, you're doing it to bring people to the gospel. How ironic it is that you kind of have to you're staying away from gospel, the term, in order to bring people to the gospel. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's such a long conversation. That is ironic, and I think what I can say right now is that I've learned so much just since the release of Songs from Zion.
Right.
I think that's the best thing to say. And whatever my intentions were at the beginning was the beginning of my growth. I think I can say that. So I'm still learning, and I believe I'm looking forward to what I'm going to learn, because my definition of the definition I had of certain terms are definitely changed, just because of what I've experienced since releasing Songs from Zion. Songs from Zion I've had so many important and intense conversation about the politics of this thing that it had to let me strip down everything I thought about was important and what I was trying to do, and then making me realize that what was important had nothing to what we think is important. And then all our fights. And then, in fact, when I recorded Zion, I was telling my husband that I didn't realize, and he said this to me, and I just didn't take him seriously. You don't know how powerful that song Zion is. Like, okay, yeah, Zion, we are one. I want, we all in the reggae community, we're always singing that we are one, we're in unity, we love. And then in my process of working through the album, I realized that it is powerful, because we say we want unity, and we say we are one, but we fight each other, even within our own circle.
Right.
And then we say we love like Christ, but we don't love like Christ, because we only want to be one with people that we are comfortable with, and the people that are like us, and the people that share the same beliefs as us. And to me, because I saw that in myself, and I had to grow beyond it, I realized, wow. So what I was trying to convert, I really shouldn't even be trying to do. It's not even about that.
Fighting an unnecessary battle.
So because I realized that I was getting fought by the people I thought that I was with,
championing for,
I began to learn that this is not a battle that I need to fight. But the most important thing is that we do learn together that the things that we're fighting, it's so insignificant. It is so insignificant. And so I'm no longer on a journey to force any truth onto you, G. Cole.
You're just doing you.
I believe firmly that I'm blessed and I'm happy, and that I'm responsible to God. And in the gift that He has given me, I need to express on this journey as I learn. And it is most important that I give that true and authentic message And if I'm learning still, I can't tell you that I know it all, and I can't tell you that I believe this wholeheartedly, because I don't believe that 10 years. What I believed 10 years ago, I don't believe today.
Growth.
I will say that. What I believed 5 years ago, I don't believe today.
Yes, sir. 1 week window.
I don't flip flop every week, no. But I do. I just, I think the biggest lesson I've learned is that all of us in our own segments, in our own religion, in our own category, we feel we know it all. We feel we know it all. We feel we know the beginning and the ending. We think we know exactly everybody who is in the book of life. Someone said this, we're ready to judge him and send him to hell already. Someone said him don't want to have the Christian name right before a rapper, said him already going to hell. They're saying that he's aligned with this and that. They know this from what? They know this from what? Because they have a definition already. And their definition, they can quote the scripture, but their interpretation of that scripture is making them be the judge for where that person is going to go for eternity.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Got the same amount of drama in gospel music than gangster rap. But anyways,
that's not what I said. You're making me say that there's drama. I never said that there's drama.
It wasn't you who said it. Somebody in the area said it, and the mic picked it up. But it wasn't you. I'm not blaming you for that one. But it's kind of, you know what I mean? All the things said.
This is the Chronics album. Chronics said, make sure I don't want nobody to misinterpret my words. You know that song? You like his album?
I love it.
I love it too.
I love it. It's.
That one got a lot of controversy too. But anyway.
Necessarily or not necessarily. You know what though? Funny enough, you mentioned the Chronics album. I was talking to Krista the other day, and I said the type of album that Chronics has is the type of album you have. In terms of, and I'll tell you what I mean by that.
Yeah, I'm confused.
I was listening to his record, and it's not your typical, because remember, we're accustomed to singles after singles after singles after singles from Chronics, right?
Yes.
Big producer, big name, everything clapping.
Yes.
And this one wasn't the same. When I played it first, I listened to it, you know what I mean, in passing, and I have to come back to it.
Yeah.
And it didn't grab me like the other ones did.
That's the same thing with me, yeah.
But when I listened to his interview, it seemed like it was by design in terms of he made it an album that you have to listen to over and over and over again.
That's so good.
And it becomes mental. Your record, I listened to over and over again because it kind of seeps its way into the play. Because here's what you have when it comes to your music playlist. You have the music where you play when you need energy. You have the music where you play when somebody upset you. You have the music you play when you're trying to go to sleep. And then you have the music that's just a part of you that you constantly play. And that album is one of those. And I feel the same way about that, like I said, I feel about the Chronics album.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a great body of work.
Yeah.
As is it.
And you know what? He feels free to share his convictions in some songs, if you notice. And in some songs, he's not pushing his convictions in some songs. One of my favorite songs on the album is Love. I know love rescued me. No, I made a voice and I said, Christians and Rastas can sing that together, right? And I think that's brilliant. I think that's fabulous. I mean, a lot of people would not agree with that because we're not supposed to be singing alongside them. And I just don't believe that. I believe what pleases God is that. And we will get a final revelation at the end.
Right.
You know, we will get our final until we get our final. I mean, it says it that we will know in part. No, in these days we will know in part. We will not get full revelation then. So everybody who said who have the full revelation and have the full knowledge, you don't.
You think you do, but you don't.
So since we don't, why don't we just live in unity and we can agree on one thing? That love is the one that created us, right? That love is the one that part the seas and create the seas and that. Let me just sing that to you, because G. Cole, me and you will never agree on anything, on a lot of things.
Right.
Right? You sing your sexy love, and I barely can get away with singing Key Lock. You know what I mean? You can wind up with Kush and them and sing that. And if I do that, I gone straight to hell. Just because of how
you don't know it, you haven't tried it yet.
Oh, well, I did and roll it. And trust me, when I did roll it, it got pure comments. I said, what am I doing?
Roll it. No, man.
Roll it to me was safe.
Roll it is a song for Grace Kitchen because you're talking about food, right? You're putting the thing in the pot.
I thought roll it was for the dancer.
No, man. For the cooking is.
So to you, it's safe because you want to sing sexy love.
Yeah. So,
but hold on, respect. I think it's for Grace Kitchen. Please get it up.
Grace Kitchen needs to give you some, you know what I mean? Just, so anybody want to judge it, no different from when Bob to turn the lights down low. Maybe this is a JPS thing. It's the same thing. But I love
For
it.
JPS.
It's a JPS thing. Turn the lights down, low the bill high. So it's the same
You should
thing.
be in marketing full time.
I'm just saying.
You want to be on a marketing team?
Nah, I can't do that. I'm a fan. I want to stay a fan.
You're funny.
Once you start to incorporate that, but trust me, I'll tell you. The thing is, you see your record?
Yes.
Your record seamlessly moves from gospel. Because depending upon which day, here's your record. Sunday is a gospel album. Monday is a roots album.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
explain
So
that
once
one.
midnight coming up, because the thing is the way the songs are,
Okay.
the way how you convey the message and so forth. There's not one song, not one key, not one line, not one note that your pastor can't hear. And I'm taking it from one extreme now, And there's not one line, one key, one note either. And well, not your pastor, my pastor. My
Okay.
pastor are roots.
Okay.
But
See, that's good.
you know what I mean? And there's also not a song on there that me can go in a club tonight. I want to say club, we can differentiate different places. But my type of club.
Right.
I run the record same way and people still go roll to it. People still go bobby. You can sing that whole album on jazz and blues, people will have vibes. Just sing the whole thing on some fest, people will have vibes. Then you can sing it at church convention, same vibes. Until they start dissecting.
Right. I think at the end of the day, I feel like lifestyle should be continued. My life and my message should be consistent.
Right.
So if I know I listen to Bob Marley, for example, what used to drive me crazy when I hear some people say that you can't sing these songs, but they love Bob Marley. You know what I'm saying? And they only love Bob Marley because Bob Marley represents Jamaica, but then they have the strict rules about, but you can't listen to this. I said, do you listen to Bob Marley? You know?
Right.
Do you listen to Barry Hammond? Oh, yeah, but we don't listen to on Sunday. Oh. So I feel like
Sacred
I
day.
want to be okay. I want to have my own conscience.
Right.
I want to feel good that if I sing Barry Hammond, I can sing I Roll It. Or I can sing Keylock, or I can sing My King. If I love what a bam 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 bidam. I mean, I feel like I can sing roll. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Those are the inspiration for some of those songs, and those are legends to me. And thanks to Rory Stone Love for reigniting that in me. But him and David also schooled me and say, "Yo, reggae is our history. If you're going to sing reggae, you can't say you can't just
Certain things are
can't just
staple words.
You can't just like say you're okay with Bob Marley and then you don't listen to love songs because you're singing Bob Marley love songs.
No,
You
it's true. And
understand?
again, goes back to the hypocrisy part of it too, because I know a lot of people who have the most gangster. I remember going into a Virgin with a dorm in college, UM. And on the wall was NWA and Bob Marley. NWA and Bob Marley. The two not going nowhere close together. But you can't deny him the fact that Bob is an influence on him and so forth.
Exactly.
He listens to it when he
Exactly.
feel like listen to it, and you know.
And that's fine. And no knocking. My thing is then just be real about it. And then I guess so that's why I said that's why some people don't want the label, because I feel like if they have that label, then it restricts from me talking about the authenticity of me being in love or me having a heartbreak. Or
dare
someone said like, I remember getting a message saying, I don't understand what come home natty means. How are you singing come home natty? Won't you come home natty?
They really ask you that?
Yeah, because
Me the plan for you ask you too, no. So I just make sure I know me alone, me and the world for the same key.
no, that's a regular question. Because okay, so let's pass the whole gospel. We can get away with the other songs because I'm talking to God and talking to Jah. So we get over that.
Right.
But then come home natty. You want me to answer?
You know what? Hold on. Save the one then. Save the one then. What I'm going to do right now is this. I'm going to go into... It's time for me going to your record right about. Because people hear us talking and I'm like, what should I talk about? And so forth and so forth and so forth. So we'll give them a piece of it. You know what I mean? The world, and I mean, Songs from Zion. We have a couple of songs that we're going to go through. If you don't have the record, you need to go get the record. Go on iTunes, go get it. Go Spotify, go wherever you consume your music and get it.
Amazon too.
Amazon, Google Play, everywhere. And comment. Because you know what? You claim say you buy the song and this and that. If you don't comment, I don't believe you. I lie you tell. Buy the album. Buy the songs. If you don't want to buy the whole album, there's individual songs on there you love. Buy the song and make a comment. You know what I mean? So that the artist can see that, and get your opinion and so forth. So
like
we're
I
getting
said,
there.
I'm growing, right? And it's all a growth process.
Hey,
So,
growth. Once you're living, you should be growing, right?
Right.
All right, keep it moving, keep it grooving. It's Homegrown.
See the daughters of Zion, look and behold him. Behold my King, him rise out of the darkness and into my life. My King, whose eyes melt my soul into vineyards, love better than wine. My King, him rise never forgetting to give thanks for the blessings from his hand and making my love anew. And his banner over me forever is love.
Yeah, man, that one is My King off the brand new album Songs from Zion,
Thanks
Kristine
for
Alicia.
selecting that one.
I love the tune them. I'm telling you, song to song. Some of them I'm on it. Gotta get that one there. Husband getting that one there. You know what I mean? Which king we talk about. But regardless, you know what? Like you said, it's interpretation. As long as your interpretation is some form of puppet.
My King was
Positive
definitely
way.
My King was definitely a love song. I wasn't even trying to be subtle with that one. In my
Okay.
previous before Songs from Zion, I would definitely admit that there were some songs that were subtle, like I'm on board to follow you, be a number one fan and right up on your back. Remember that song?
Yep,
You know that
yep.
one? And I choose you. You are the king of my desire. Like I felt like some of those songs.
Is that one?
were,
Which one? Yeah, it's subtle. That one. I choose you.
Yeah. So that one was it. I mean, those songs were inspired by natural crushes,
Right.
and natural life and love experiences. But because, obviously, and very willingly and happily, I knew that as a gospel artist, I couldn't really do a love song.
Right.
So I had to.
Ain't that some?
So like Your Lady was dedicated to God, obviously.
Right.
But it was inspired by, this man looked kind of cute and I want to dedicate my life. But I flipped it and did it. And because I believed that I believed that my relationship with God, I was a single girl, and I believe that I used my relationship with God because I was so committed to Him only, like a nun.
Right.
I would, I could use my natural, crush and feelings and disappointments and all these, the highs that you have when you meet somebody, and put them in a context of spirituality.
I got you. Like, you know what? I think why they probably said they can't hear you. Gotta turn this around. Hold on.
Oh, okay, cool.
That might be a little better for him. Yeah, and like you mentioned, some of the songs are more subtle than others, especially the ones from the past, as you mentioned. The question is this, and somebody had asked me this in a conversation: what has the response been overall on the album, and and let's draw the line on the middle from your fans on the left,
Okay.
and your fans in the church?
Oh, so the fans on the left is people that are not in the church?
Yeah, not as often as you are.
Okay.
I'll put myself on the left. I'm in the church, but not like when my in the church and you're in the church are two different something.
Okay. I've had a lot of different responses. So generally, I've had people say that that they love the production has definitely been on point, like a star production. So thanks to Rory for that. Like
Yes.
Topper. Definitely roots. I've had a few people tell me that, I kind of want a little bit more pop. They want to go back to the pop. But then that doesn't matter because I know what I wanted. The live roots
Right.
feeling was exactly, and I don't think, respect all the pop. But I think, like I said, like you have different seasons for what you want. The season of of the pop is not there for me anymore.
Root season.
Though I would say that I've had some positive feedback from some of the gospel DJs, which you call them on the right. Yeah, that's what you said. Okay.
Yeah, man.
They've some of them would play Much Love to DJ Proclaimer. Some of them would play, but I've had someone that just tell me honestly that I love you, Kristine, but I cannot play this on my station because you don't have the word Jesus in there.
Really?
And you have too much Jah. So I've had that. So I understand it. And I just tell them, I respect it. Thanks for telling me. And I prefer that because I get it.
So is there no Marvin Sapp on that station?
Oh, I don't know.
Because
I
the
know.
biggest song that said Jesus not at all, and I
So that's why I get confused with the rules. That's why I don't bother. But I don't.
Okay.
I don't ask any questions. I just say they have the format and I know. And people, that's fine. And that's fine. To me, that's okay. But then again, that I don't know if my intention was for it to be that was not my ultimate goal for the album. However, so the people that are like G. Colden who get the album and they love it because they say it's inspirational. They feel the connection and they get the message, and to them that's what they can use to. And to me, that is what I felt like there are enough people preaching to the choir and enough people preaching to the church people what them already know. I believe that, and I'm not trying to say, and because I'm on a journey to get closer to God as well,
Right.
I just wanted to be honest. And that's what Cry is about, and that's what some of the songs are about, Valley Song is about, because I believe that I didn't want to be up here anymore where I was on a stage looking down and saying, you need to do this, you need to do that. I want to say, I'd rather do this, because to me, when you do that, you become hypocritical.
Right.
I wanted to be on a level as an artist, and you know what? I'm trying to connect with God like you. Come, let's listen and let's reason together. Come, let us break bread together. Come, let us talk to God together. And since I'm doing reggae music, I'm going to use the word Jah. Simple. So if it eliminates me from your format, then fine.
That's crazy though.
But it doesn't matter. But what I have found, like how I saw certain things change with Philistine or whatever. I've now seen people come back and say, "Oh, I get it. Oh, I understand what you're doing. Oh, I didn't want. I was at first upset, but now I hear you and I understand what you're saying. Oh, now this person who never want to hear anything gospel would at least listen to it. And then now, it's just I don't business.
Sometimes that's a stance you have to take. The thing is, you said a second ago in terms of, maybe it's just not for you over there. That's the thing I'm always wondering. Maybe that's the reason why. That's the reason why they're mad, because it's kind of like you're out. You're taking a step over here and say, you know what, this is not for you. You know what I mean? I'm making something, but it's not for you.
And it doesn't have to be. And I think I said it the other day, like, everybody, God has given everybody a voice and everybody their own purpose. My purpose is not yours, G. Cole. G. Cole.
What's my purpose?
My purpose. And I think that we need to be careful of trying to mandate everybody's purpose based on what God tell you to do.
But it's human nature. I think we put our own convictions, and again, we talk about insecurities, everything. You know what I mean? A lot of times, it's like bullyism. A lot of times, the biggest bullies are the most cowardly person. They're trying to do it before. I'm gonna go ahead and do it before you do it to me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's kind of, that's how I feel about it. Right. I mean, and stepping outside of that, you mentioned it. As you see, I had it here written down to ask. It's kind of like the production sake. Production is ridiculous.
Thank you.
And I know
all live musicians.
Tell me, who are some of the musicians? I know Rory Stone Love produced.
Yeah, he brought in. Oh wow! I mean, well, Nambo. You know, if you Nambo, the trombone player.
Right.
I mean, first of all, Rory has a band called the Black Heights. So those are the Black Heights, and they consist of the group. I don't know if you know Ian. He's the bass player. I'll have to go back into the packet and look at it.
All right, my bad.
Yes.
My bad. Musicians is not such a forget what your names or anything.
Yes,
it's just that,
just
you know what I mean? You're so uniform in the Black Heights.
No, the band is called Black Heights.
You know what I mean? So it's a Black Heights 1, Black Heights 2, Black Heights 3, Black Heights 4. There's I don't forget thing. We'll dig it up. In the you put out physical CDs, right?
Yes.
Because I need to get one of those, because you know what, I am a CD person. That's the reason why I like the physical. You know what I mean?
The CDs are VP. If you live in South Florida, the CDs are VP Records.
In Miramar?
And I believe they have it in New York as well. And I know we ship some to Europe as well. So. And
I guess Amazon and so forth.
Yeah. So.
But I prefer the ones from the store, because it's not the same. The one you get from Amazon is Amazon created, so you won't get the same thing as you get from.
I didn't even know that. I'm educated.
Well, I learned that when I did Ocho Rios, and I needed a physical to give to Pandora.
Yeah.
And I didn't have my physicals in yet, so I ordered one from Amazon, and it wasn't the same thing.
Yeah. So the physical CDs, and I know that Rory have some in Jamaica for sure. But if you live in Jamaica, find it. You find it, I'm pretty sure. That won't be hard. I'm pretty sure we know where to get this physical CD in Jamaica. But in South Florida, VP Records and so forth. And we're still continuing to distribute all over.
Well, let's make sure we go ahead and get that, and make sure we keep supporting the good music, because trust me, right about now, with the influx of nonsense on the airways, it's just a good... I like playing music where I don't have to skip and edit, and my child is there and I don't feel like I'm corrupting her with this stuff or whatever. So we'll give thanks for some more beautiful music coming out. We're going to play some more tracks for you, you know what I mean? So don't go anywhere. Keep it moving. Keep it grooving. It's Homegrown.
This is my story. This is my song. Praising my Savior She never know, she never know. Pharisees and vultures all around. Still a birdie learned to fly out of town. Like Maya Angelou, she learned how to sing. Out of the cage and giant under her wings. This is my story. This is my song. This is my song. Praising my Savior all day long. This is my story. This is my song. Praising my Savior with songs from Zion. And so this journey, I've not more to go. She finding time out to fly and let go. Over the mountains, some rivers to cross. And not every gold egg must keep warm. There is a time for everything underneath the sky. Underneath your wings, you'll learn just how to fly. Don't force a thing, it will happen in time. That's the lesson for this birdie upon this vine.
That one is my story. Kristine Alicia, Songs from Zion. You said this one now.
Well, this one I think was interesting for me because I didn't expect the response. Rory came to me and said, "Yo, I want you to do a gospel tune, you know." And I said, "Lord, Rory, you know, really?" And he said, "Yeah, man, you have a gospel voice, you need to sing it and whatever." So a friend of mine, Colin Morgan, told me why you don't take the chorus of a hymn and put it on there, and then I wrote the verses to it. But it worked out really because the truth, it kind of gave, I guess, credence to the fact that how reggae really comes from a nation that have holy churches on every street. And almost everybody know a church or their grandma taught them to church, and we know a hymn, and we know all our hymns.
Yep.
Everybody have a quote unquote hymn in, even dancehall singers have it. So I think the response was surprising. I didn't expect the dancehall DJs, or what you call I didn't expect the dancehall DJs to really rate the song. But the gospel DJs love it. I learned from David and Rory, again, while doing the song, that the truth of the matter is we are a spiritual people. Reggae is a spiritual genre. So even after them done fight up, they want to hear what they remember growing up. And this is my story, this is my song. And they want to hear that because why? We have an inner call and an inner...
True.
It never goes away. So you can, like, G. Cole can sing him Sexy Love, and I know G. Cole want to sing a church song right afterwards sometime, right, G. Cole?
2 songs down.
Yeah, I'm too...
Can't do right after that.
Sorry.
Bun me out. Not right away.
But God knows your heart, though.
He knows my heart.
He does. So.
Yeah, man.
I think this song, what someone told me is this, that it kind of relate to, and this is what made me feel good. Because that's why I know, I was like, you know what, thank you, God, because the point is that everyone needs to be able to relate. It's not even about whether you go to church or not.
Right.
Everybody has a story to tell. You know, you have your story. I've had my story. You go through your struggles. I go through my stories. Mm-hmm. My story, I told in a very simple format in the song how I grew up kind of sheltered and with this boxed view of how the world is. And then as I grew up, I was able to spread my wings. And I used to be afraid to speak my truth. No, I'm not afraid at all, even though I get kind of flack for it. You know, I'm not afraid.
You spread the truth across the world.
No, I just having the freedom now. Am I learning? Maybe I need to learn a little bit more how to say it a little more tactful. I don't know, but the point is, everybody has their story, and you need to be free to. Because you know why? At whichever point your story is, or you are where you are in your journey is a witness to somebody. It's going to help somebody else,
right?
Or help somebody to get to where you are, or to be inspired, or you know, every point is important, and I think we forget that. So that's why my story, because everyone wants to be free to tell a story.
It's amazing. I personally think it's an amazing song, and I do think it brings the credence back to, like you said, you are, no matter how you swing it, this might not be a gospel project, but you're a gospel artist at heart.
If you want to,
you know what I'm saying? Because you know what, you couldn't get away from it, and if Rory never pushed it, you would have find it. You don't find it somewhere. It is good people are good people. Good people do what good people do. If you're a gospel person,
wait, you put me back in a box though.
Not a box. It's a bag. You can't. You can't pop it open.
Well, I think what you're trying to say is very nice. I think what I do believe and I agree with what you're saying is that you cannot get away from what's in your heart. That's fine. And I will be forever proud of that. That in my heart is a desire to be connected to the person or the divine person who created me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That is what it is. And because of that, and because I've learned so much growing up, and I've called on his name so many times and asked questions and admitted to him how I was confused,
Right.
or shouted at him, or told him how I felt, or told him I was disappointed or cried. I feel like that is what came out, whether you want to call it whatever. Because
Right.
I'm not going to cry to the wall or
Right.
to the tree or whatever. I called to God and I said, God, you have to help me. So
Course.
if you want to call that gospel, you can call it gospel.
Nah, I feel you. And
If you want to box me in and call me gospel.
Nah, man, in a box, man. This is like a thin plastic bag that you can see through. Transparent, a sky juice bag.
Make it well, if it's transparent, then that's great. Then that's all that matters.
My grandma would love this one.
Oh, she would? Yeah. My mother told me to say, just, I like your album, but I really love my story.
Of course, because it takes her to a place where only that song can take her to.
Yeah.
You know, and for clarification, when I say the left and the right, you know,
I know.
the left is not the outer road, you know. The left is just not as intimately involved in the church as you should be.
Yeah.
We have the left, we have the right, and then we have around the corner.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about around the corner.
But we're not excluding anybody or around the corner. Around
No,
the
we're
corner,
not excluding.
I believe that there are people, if you want to call it around the corner people have their moments when they lock up in
Trust
them
me.
room, and at the end of doing what we call the worst, them have the most intimate moments with God.
Trust me.
And that is
The baddest man find. Trust me.
exactly. And them can sing cry if they want to sing cry. Them can sing valid song if they want to sing valid, and God will hear them.
And if you don't know the words, go to iTunes and get the song, and you can learn it from right there. You know what I mean? That's how you're going to get the words to these songs. So iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, those are for listening pleasure, but make sure so you go buy it. Google Play. What the next one? All over. Just Google the thing.
All over.
All over. Google the thing. Anywhere online, the music is there. And again, you know, download it if that's your way of consuming it. I have it on there because I travel around with my phone. But even if I don't ever open the case, I'm going to get the CD because I just like CDs.
Oh, thank you.
You know what I mean?
I got your CD.
Well, thank you.
The packaging thing.
So you forgot, man. You know what I mean? Keep the real thing. You know what I mean? I'm contemplating even putting it on vinyl. If you ever put it on vinyl, I'm going to get that
Well,
too.
Rory is planning on doing that. That's what he said. So hopefully that would be nice because I respect that so much.
Trust me, the vinyl sound and the whole nine. Like I said, I may
Yeah.
never open it, but you can't tell me something. I have my thing.
That's right.
And I'm a Facebook. And I don't go on Facebook a lot now because I'm busy, but trust me, that, oh Lord.
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, the whole nine. All right. Well, we're going to keep it going. We got lots more of lovely songs from this album. And again, if you don't have a copy of this album, you're missing out on a lot. So, you know what I mean? Here's another one. This one is Zion. Keep it moving. Keep it grooving. It's Homegrown.
Oh, Zion. In Zion there is peace. No more fighting of the minds. We are free. In Zion we are one. No more fighting over race or religion. In Zion there is joy. Hear the children of the streets lift their voice. In Zion, love is king, and it wins over every evil thing. I can be free. No more hate for the one that hurts me. Be free from the chains that hold me. I can be free from opinions that order me. Zion's gates are open wide and no restrictions come inside. Rich or poorer, young and older, you'll never be pushed aside. You'll never thirst again. Oh, you'll never thirst again. You'll never thirst again. You'll never thirst again. young and older. You'll never be put aside. Yeah. Come and we go to Zion. Ba-da-ba-da-da-da. Ba-da-ba-da-da-ba.
That one is Zion from the album Songs from Zion. Big tune. That's my whole meds. That's my whole meds tune. You know, and people driving and the traffic too sticky and one of the client them come with some nonsense, but I say, it's all good. Zion for now. You know what I mean? But you know, it's amazing. We're talking off here about the DJs and the whole nine and so forth. And just listening to the body of work, if I was a DJ, while I might say the song that fit my format, I can't say I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? It's a scenario where if I'm running something, because even for this program, I had to select the songs.
Right.
You know what I mean? I got a small window.
Yeah.
And I got to talk to you. So I got to select the songs I'm going to play. But it's not, I didn't choose the best songs.
Okay.
I didn't choose the songs I liked.
Okay, you chose for the format.
I chose some songs for the format.
Right. So I think that's what them probably were meant, that that this is what can fit my format more than what I like or don't like.
Probably, because there's what's not to like. You know what I'm saying?
So
It's
nice.
And I'm just keeping it real, not because it's right here, but it's a scenario where what's not to like. Again, you will always have your preferences. You know what I'm saying? You have some maki over, you have some jerk chicken, you have some fish to say. You may have your preference of what you want, but
Right.
what's not to like.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's lovely. This is like I said, my whole Ahmed song. It has that roots cross of appeal. We all have a core audience, and I'm always going back to this: being an artist of your background.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Do you feel any pressure to tailor a song or a project to your traditional artist, or are you just doing
Not
Kristine Alicia?
anymore. Not anymore at all.
No.
I don't have any. I don't feel any pressure anymore. And I think what helped with that was a song like "Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow."
Right.
It helped to give me that freedom. I think once I got over that, I was like, I can do whatever I wanted now. Because by then I was like, all right, nothing like the responses didn't matter anymore. You know,
Right.
I knew that. I got over the fact, okay, then they already know that if they can't handle it, can't handle it. And then now, then the people that could handle it stuck and then continue to support. And then they were able to accept, Kristine can do a complete love song unashamedly.
Right.
And then a song that is completely quote-unquote religious. And so I don't have the pressure at all. I think I can talk about anything because my stance is I talk about what I'm learning and what my life experience is, and life brings all of that.
So a lot of the pressure, or the so-called pressure that you had before, I mean, probably just some self-inflicted.
Probably, or self-inflicted, or what I was self-inflicted, or but I was in a defined box.
Right.
So I don't know if it's self-inflicted. I think no, because the people I worked with would say no. You when I would try to express it as something, they say you can't say that or you can't. So no, I don't know if it's all self-inflicted. I think some of it was like definitely this is the genre we work in and this is what's accepted. And if you do that, you cannot do that.
It's amazing. I mean, part of it that amazes me pretty much is, again, if someone's a gospel artist or a so-called gospel artist, you give them a lot of flack because they do something that you don't deem gospel. But you will commend a secular artist if they decide to do a gospel record. And
I
so on.
saw that comment the other day, and I was like,
Crazy.
thank you. Yeah, because we are so like enamored by, we are enamored by celebrities.
Right.
So we feel like, they're blessing us if they do a gospel track, and we don't even realize what we're saying.
It's crazy.
Or we automatically think them saved because they do a gospel track. Saved according to our definition, and then that's another discussion.
Kills. So here's so here's the thing. So if I decide tomorrow, I go and do a gospel album, all right, and to be honest with you, I will probably say it's a gospel album. I do notice that when like Mr. Vegas do his thing,
Yes.
and other people do their things that are not gospel
should have
albums,
been on live. Mm-hmm.
they hammer it home that it's a gospel project.
Right,
It could be for one of two reasons, Either the conviction, or two, this is my pie chart and that market is not supporting Vegas, so many things. May I get that market there? You know what I'm saying?
But it's not for us to judge. So
It's who knows. I mean, in a judge, it's an opinion, and everybody's got an opinion. But
yes.
but the thing is, they are the ones that are running to it for whatever the reason is. It is what it is. But I just feel that it's so much pressure put on our gospel artists by the base that is really supposed to uplift them and support them. And the reality of it is I don't care what nobody say. You know, I listen gospel 24/7. So here's my thing. If you've got a CD collection at home and you have your BB and CC in it, I have your Shirley Caesar, you know what I'm saying? And you have your formerly Tony, or whatever the case may be.
No, because one artist must only have one kind of message.
Crazy.
That's what it is.
Yeah. But whenever the rapper singer and the singer rap, them call it versatility though.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. So that one lost me. Ask them. Don't ask me.
Yeah. It's a lot of. Sometimes it'd be good to have a nice forum, you know.
Me.
Just trust me. It's crazy. It's crazy. But you know what? It's pressure being, you know, in because again, a lot of people, it's their insecurities. I just feel like, and as well as I will always go back to that whole concept of people feel like you're outgrowing them, for lack of a better word. I'm wondering how much of it is, she don't roll with me no more. You know what I mean? The market, the platform is bigger. The gospel platform is only here. You know what I mean? Is the first 2 floors. You know.
Well, I'd hope they would never feel that way.
I hope not.
I hope
and again, insecurities, you don't have control over that.
I don't, but I really hope that's not what it is.
I hope not. Well, for all the people out there who hungry, for all the people out there who who want a little dancehall vibes and some food that them pop, we're gonna run another song, you know what I mean, from the album. It's called Roll It. Like I said, Grace Kitchens need to lock on to the one. If I was the marketing person, I'd lock on, I don't even know if they exist still, but I'd lock on, I'd do some commercials, I'd do something, but I love that tune now. You know what I mean? Check it out. Kristine Alicia, Roll It.
Kristine Alicia said, season it, pull it up, tell the DJ nice it up, give me liquor jerky, now the mix, nobody spoil it up. Everybody want put them hand in the pot, but only one sound can make the dance hot. Tell the DJ roll it, pull up the rhythm and roll with it. Tell the DJ roll it, pull up the rhythm and roll with it. Yeah, come with your dance, name it what you want. Pepper sauce, dumpling, chop the coconut. Everybody want put them hand in the pot, but only one sound can make the dance hot. Tell the DJ roll it, pull up the rhythm and roll with it. Tell the DJ roll it, pull up the rhythm and roll with it. Oh, DJ coming again, DJ coming again. Season it, pull it up, tell the DJ nice it up, give me like a jerky, now the mix, nobody spoil it up. Everybody want put them hand in the pot, but only one sound can make the dance hot. Tell the DJ roll it, pull up the rhythm and roll with it. Tell the DJ roll it, pull up the rhythm and roll with it. Yeah, come with your dance, name it what you want. Pepper sauce, dumpling, chocolate coconut. Everybody want put them hand in the pot, but only one sound can make the dance hot. Tell the DJ roll it, pull up the rhythm and roll with it. Tell the DJ roll it, pull up the rhythm and pull up the rhythm and pull up the rhythm and roll with it.
Yeah, man, that tune a bad side to the fade out. I didn't even realize, you know what I mean? But I could have pulled it up one more time. I love it. Again, to carry on the conversation, the off-year conversation, it's a situation, like I mentioned. I know people who are, you know, church folks who probably would not embrace this a couple of years ago. The insecurities within themselves. Today, at an older age, and it's maturity too. You know what I mean? It's maturity too. And like you've mentioned a couple of times, the times have changed. Evolution has taken its course, and we're in a different age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like me say, my grandmother, I love this. Grandmother, I love it. It's tune
Yeah, for grandma.
bad. Big up grandma. Big up grandma. You know, and I see that you have an audience that ranges from the gospel audience to the reggae to the roots to lovers rock's audience. But how difficult is it to cater to such a broad audience on one album?
Okay. How difficult is it to cater? That's a good question. I think that if I were to really overthink it, I would definitely feel overwhelmed. There are days when I do feel overwhelmed. I just had to come to a place, and I would say that's part of the whole learning process. That's one of the lot of the lessons I learned. Like if I tried to watch everything I say, I would really just get frustrated. So because I'm going to offend someone at all times.
Right.
Because just like there are Christians that love the album, and then there are Rastas that love the album. And everyone has a very firm stance on what they believe. What I've just decided to do, I can't cater to anybody. I can only speak what I believe right now, today, and how it relates to that given song.
So I'm gonna give the Christians and the church people a reprieve. Is there any kickback from the roots community for say, man, they should just keep it straight throats and right?
No, I don't give any kickbacks from the roots. I do hear once in a while that they just wish I was Rasta or something.
You're not too late.
I don't feel like, no, because again, I don't feel in the songs aren't violating any of their things.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? So, but they just, what I realized after when the album just came out, and I got a lot of good interviews, and then a lot of them didn't know my church background. So they interviewed me like, so I would hear like, you believe in white Jesus? Like, really?
White.
So
White.
and that's the concept. Like, once it's a Christian, you know,
White Jesus.
they automatically think white Jesus. It's not possible to be a Christian and think that Jesus is black. So, so that's a whole nother conversation. But anyway,
that's episode 2.
Yes. So the point is, no, I don't get any of that from the Rasta community. The most flack I've gotten is, I'll just say this, it's not from the Rasta community.
I figured, and the funny thing you said that, I figured, because I don't know why. It seems to me that the world outside,
They don't business.
They will embrace you. You know, it's the funny thing is this. All right, now we're going to church and offer the music. No. It's like the church is supposed to accept the world with open arms.
No.
It seemed to me like the world is more open to the church with open arms than vice versa.
Because the Bible says, thou shalt not mix yourselves with people that are not like you, and thou shalt separate yourselves. Come ye from among them.
Then if you do that, then how you going to reach the people that are not like you and infuse them with what your beliefs are and bring them home?
Because the only way you're going to do that is if you have a sign that says you're trying to convert them. And the sign means that it has to be very, very explicit and directly say those things, which of course I don't believe anymore.
Wow. Wow. Well, for me and from my standpoint, it seemed that people are always waiting on an artist to do something against the grain so they can start a fuss. Especially in certain arenas. When I say church, and when I say gospel, just certain arenas.
Yeah.
But that's what makes you an artist. You know what I mean? And I guess what I'm trying to figure out is this, and I'm sure the Reverend not listen. But Rev ever call you one away and say, boy, Kristine, that tune not bad enough, but Sister Merle have some concerns.
No, I haven't.
No?
I think because by this time now, there's some people, those are no one. What I think I've learned is that if anybody has anything to say, they're going to go to the friend that they think can come to me and give their complaints.
Not coming straight up.
No, they're not going to come straight up to me.
How can you're not bad man then? You can't come to the artist and say something. It's all good.
Like what? Well, we just said earlier, sometimes I fight within themselves.
Yeah, it's an internal conflict. You know what I mean? Everybody got their idiosyncrasies, whatever they might deal with and whatever. But at the same time, you know, you don't eat fish every day. You don't eat steak every day. You don't want bad. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't eat beef, so I can't fire about that. But it don't mean say it bad. You know what I mean? It's a scenario where choose, as long as you're not, and this is how I look at things, you know. There's right and there's wrong. If you're not the wrong, what does it matter what degree of right it is?
You're going into a whole nother conversation right there. That's like another 2 hours because people would lick you for that.
Trust me. It's all good. And funny enough, you know, I grew up in the church. I'm a Christian. I'm baptized.
Okay. Yeah.
So, no, am I in the church every Sunday like I should be? I mean, I'm going to blame it on corporate. Corporate has me out in these streets. You know what I mean? So
You have to make your money.
I got to do what I got to do. I have to make sure that we can tithe.
Right.
But that's a whole that's a whole different conversation. That's a whole different combo. But it's just, again, it's good music. I can't beat around the bush. Good music is good music. I don't care how you dissect it. It's beautiful. And maybe it's a generation gap, whatever the case may be. But I haven't heard one song that, put it this way, you know how we are, especially coming from Jamaica and whatever. Take church out of Jamaica. We hold our church thing a little different. Certain things you'll do, certain things you won't even wear go to church. You know what I mean? Certain things you will think you'll never say it after you pass the church gate.
Right.
This, if I was in the church hanging out waiting on a Sunday evening when we used to have our Galena band and our kids thing while them do them thing, and me happen to have my little boombox I play.
Yeah.
I would have no problem playing this.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not asking the choir to sing it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even that, I should be able to ask them to.
There are a few
But
that I
I
think
should be
a
able to
choir
sit down
can
and
sing.
play this on abundance or nothing.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Even when you mention the DJs, I do find that, and it's always been this way, the gospel DJ may have a problem playing a dancehall record. But the dancehall DJ not a problem playing the gospel record.
No,
You know how much gospel tune me in a
that's a
dance?
good point.
That's how most people win
Yeah.
sound clash, you know?
Yes. Like, yeah, I know.
Just-
I mean, I think that goes to say that without them even knowing, there's a certain level of freedom that they have.
Right.
And artistry and musicianship, and to me, the music world, that is the glory of the music world, that artists should be free. Unfortunately, the community of what we call gospel, in good intention, have created so many rules that they've lost freedom.
Wow.
And so to me, they've lost the glory of artistry. And I read a book that talks about that, written by a pastor, actually, but he said he went through his flock of redefining what this whole gospel thing. But he was saying, because he was a fashion designer, and he was like, the glory is to be free and to be artist. But unfortunately, the reason why there's so much creativity that comes outside of quote-unquote church is because they don't have half the rules that we have. And so we're stifled, and we don't even know it. We don't even know it, but that's a whole nother 2-hour conversation.
Yeah, that's the other episode. That's the other episode. But I mean, regardless of how they want to view it, listen, like I said, the music is phenomenal. It's beautiful. I love it. Yeah. I'm willing to bet you that the listeners are gonna love it.
Thank you.
And the 2 people them when I love it in the entire world now subscribe. So no matter. You know what I mean? It don't even matter anyway. So, and if they don't love it, we're gonna play it till they love it.
That's
because that's other
okay.
things. So that's
And
programming.
not everything for everybody.
Mm.
Yeah, man.
We're getting it for everybody. But like I mentioned to you before, the album's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's a really, really nice album. Now, my favorite, not song from the album, but my favorite Kristine Alicia song is a song called Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow?
Cool.
All right? So if I can so be obliged to share it with the world, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I'm going to go ahead. Keep it moving, keep it grooving. It's Homegrown.
Tonight you're mine completely. You give your love so sweetly. Oh, tonight the light of love is in your eyes. Will you still love me tomorrow? Is this a lasting treasure or just a moment's pleasure? Can I believe the magic of your side? Will you still love me tomorrow? Tonight with words unspoken, you said that I'm the only one, yeah. 'cause I won't ask again. Will you still love me tomorrow? Oh, baby, tell me now. Will you still love me tomorrow? Oh, tell me now. Will you still love me tomorrow? I wanna know. Will you still love me tomorrow? I wanna know now. Will you still love me tomorrow? I wanna know. Will you still love me? Will you still love me? Will you still love me? Will you still love me tomorrow?
Couldn't get myself a fade that one day, but I love the tune. That's my joint right there. I really like it. You know what I mean? That's Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow. I guess most of the things that I like about the songs that you do sometimes, it sounds like conversation. You ever hear, sometimes people write and it's so elementary. It just rhyme, it's just, you know what I mean, sugar and spice and all things nice. You know what I mean? And I've always asked, musicians, what's their inspiration. I know this is a cover, but in all honesty, let me take that back. It's not a cover. The cover is when somebody karaoke the thing. And like I was talking about the D Brown ones the other day, they're not covers, they're interpretations.
Okay.
And I see this as your interpretation. What's the inspiration behind this? How did you end up doing this song?
Dennis Dreadstone, a producer, actually, very honored to have met him. He died recently last year.
Wow. Rest in
he
peace.
was the one that just called me. He heard Freedom Fighters.
Mm-hmm.
He knows Tanto. He said, Tanto, yo, can you connect me? And so I guess he connected us. And he said, I want you to listen to the song, but I wanted a reggae version to the song. Can you do it? And I said, I'd love to do it.
Wow.
And so I did it. I am a fan of Amy Winehouse.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then I like Amy Winehouse, but I also wanted to make sure I did it in my Kristine Alicia reggae style.
Right.
So I think that's...
Who did the original?
Amy Wine... No, who did the original? The Shirelles.
Shirelles.
The Shirelles, yes.
Yeah. I tell you, it is funny enough, and this is how good the version, your interpretation is. I mean, I remember Amy version. I love Amy still. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Not bad.
I kind of jumped right from the Shirelles to this version.
Yes.
Totally.
I understand. Yeah, and I get it. And actually, I didn't know the Shirelles version. The producer called me. When he called me, he says, "Hey, I know you." And I said, "Oh, Amy Winehouse song." And he's like, "No, let me make you hear the Shirelles." And so, but I still never latch on to that style. I just said, I just familiarized myself again with Amy Winehouse, but I went in and just tried to do it. But he was saying, okay, so the backgrounds were more influenced by the Shirelles than my lead.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
it was
my
more
lead,
by Amy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't even think that I sounded close to Amy, but I don't know.
I like this version.
Thank you.
I love it. It's a song.
I hope it has its own character. Yes. So.
It does.
That's what I wanted to accomplish. But.
It does. And if you're not, the thing about it is this: sometimes you hear a song and you can tell it's an interpretation, a do-over, a cover, if you will. Mm-hmm. If you're not a music enthusiast and you don't know the history of it and whatever the case may be, you just sort of think, yo, a young lady, mad, she have old school vibes and she go on and whatever. That's how I would feel,
Thank you.
Question for you is this though: why do you think it's hard for people to embrace a gospel artist or an inspirational artist doing a love song, on an album, or maybe an album that's just not all about praise? Because I don't think when the Reverend, I try to get him romance on, he's playing.
Right. Well, the reasonings I have heard is that if God gives you a gift and the gift is singing, you are solely to use that gift for praising Him, and their definition of praising Him is lyrically in the songs. So if that's the definition, and if that definition was correct, then obviously me singing a love song is giving praise to the man I'm in bed with. And so I guess that's sacrilegious. But if you don't believe that, then I'm free from that.
I praise, I big up.
Exactly. But it's not even that. But the reason why I can't stand to that argument, I can't hold to that argument or hold myself accountable to that, is because I don't believe that I am disrespecting or misusing my gift if I sing a love song. I believe I'm even giving more credit to the gift and the glory to the creator of the gift, because the creator created the love experience in its goodness and its badness, in its experience. I now believe that everything that we go through is a lesson that gives glory to God. I
So
firmly
eloquently
believe
put.
that.
I wonder if you just said the same thing if you're single. I doubt it, you know. Things just change.
Uh,
But I'm willing to bet
probably-
money, though.
I mean, well, that's another conversation.
Another 2 hours.
Because I wasn't very, very holy before I got married.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, I could still sing I love song before I get
But
married.
nothing wrong with that, though.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Let me tell you something. I do
That's
not
what
think
I'm
any
saying.
children
I
are
wasn't-
conceived on the Mississippi Mass
I
Choir
was
album.
not. I was. I was not. I was not. I didn't purposefully release songs from Zion after I got married. It just so happened that I got married before. I didn't meet him when I started doing songs from Zion. I started to be when I did Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow. I wasn't. I was not. I didn't. I was free from the fact that I could only sing love songs. I felt like if I had never met him, I would be singing love songs. I just so happened to get married now. But some people say, "Oh no, you're married, you can sing love songs," and I want to tell them, no, it's not because I'm married I can sing love songs now.
So marriage legitimizes.
That's what some people. That's what some people like. I had a gospel interview and I love her and everything. But she said, "Yeah," she says, "You're married. Of course you can sing these songs. Why is everybody upset?" And I was like, "Okay, I just I never
Leave it
bother.
be.
I couldn't bother argue because that's their perception. Like, but
So you couldn't sing it the day before.
I'm okay. Like for some people, I shouldn't sing it at all because I'm a
crazy.
gospel artist. For some people, it's okay because but she's married, so she's okay to sing. That's their defense of me. And then to me, I'm just like, you should be able to sing it regardless.
So these lovely wedding songs, these Luthers, these whatever the case may be, they frown upon those overall, or it's just the fact that those guys aren't gospel
They're
artists?
not gospel artists.
Oh, seen. So if me drop an album tomorrow and it's a gospel record, or it's full of, am I not able to? Is it considered a gospel record?
It's a good question. So I think no, because Luciano would sing a song that sounds gospel, but I guess it's not gospel.
You know how much people tell me it's Lucia Kristine? If you listen to the music, you know.
Well, that's some people would say that, yes, and some people would say no.
That's crazy.
But that's another. I did another post the other day.
Yes,
2
you
days
know.
ago, that
Social
said-
media rampant.
That said that do you know that there's many different kinds of Rastas and many different kinds of Christians, and there's subsets and thing there, and so yes, so some people could say that Luciano based on a certain subset in that genre thing there,
That he's a
and some
Christian.
people would say he is not. How could you say that? And that's why I just at the end of the point I just say, you don't know, don't stop. Let's stop with all these labels until you have a proper conversation with somebody.
I don't think they'll ever have a proper conversation.
That's the point.
Sometimes people not trying to learn, you know.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Listen, I'm ignorant. I'm holding on to this ignorance. This is my truth, and I'm reveling in this ignorance. I'm going to carry it to my grave.
And that is what I fight every day.
Boy, till I say, you need to sing Access to Love and turn them over. So, do a cover of Hot Sexy Love.
I shall.
Shoveling it like rain. Well, listen, let me say this. I love the record. I'm very proud of you. You're doing it in a major way.
Thank you.
What's next for Kristine Alicia?
I'm going to continue to spread the word of Songs from Zion.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that I don't believe in rushing and doing another album really quickly. I really took my time to do this album. It took my time. I put a lot into writing it. My producer put a lot of work into it. So we're going to spend as much time as necessary to get it all across the borders. And that is going to be by touring. So I'm really,
Wow.
I'm praying that, well, we're already talking about some stuff like that.
Nice.
We're just continue to, I haven't yet explained every single song. And I feel like there's so much I could talk about each and every song and the journey. I think we just start, the album just released in February.
Right.
We're just now we just released Zion and Roll It. Now we're just about to do the music video for Key Lock and then My Story. I think the visuals are very important. So by the time
Absolutely.
we release those, I'm hopefully to be on tour soon.
Nice. A live band and all.
Live band, yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Sure.
Where can the masses find you next? What's on the immediate agenda for Kristine Alicia?
Well, I have a Marcus Garvey event coming up right here in Fort Lauderdale. I'll post it to my social media, but also my website with the details. It's I believe it's a tribute to Marcus Garvey, where I'll be singing, some songs, of course, like Freedom Fighters and
Wow.
Zion and so forth. And then I have another event coming up in September. I don't have the exact address for that because
It's local, Florida?
It's in Florida. And
Nice. And of course, let's have the social media. Where can people reach out to you for bookings and just to say hi? I love the music.
Yeah. Well, on Facebook, Kristine Alicia Fam, there's like a book button. It's a book now. Or if you're a website person, I have my official website, Kristine Alicia. So that's Kristine Alicia. And on the website, it kind of takes you to all of the icons for Twitter, for Facebook, for Instagram. Like it's a one-stop shop for there. I also sell in Zion T-shirts. If you want a Zion T-shirt, you can go there.
Them have double X?
And thing there. I think so. I'm pretty sure we have.
Small, medium, double X, and sexy. I'm gonna get that sexy.
Yes.
So, well, there you have it. Listen, the album Songs from Zion is out right now on iTunes and again, all your media outlets. Everyone, please go and get that. Anything else you want the world to know before we sign off?
I think we said a lot tonight. We said a whole lot tonight. I really appreciate everyone that's already bought the album. Nice. And if you have it, what would help is to just tell someone else, just one more person about the album. You know, like I used to do the evangelism thing.
Hey, so the thing go. Knock on every door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I appreciate all the listeners for tuning in. Thanks, G. Cole.
Treat it like a watchtower.
Yeah, wow.
You know what I mean? Thank you so much for coming through. You know what I mean? There you have it. Thank you so much for tuning in. It has indeed been a pleasure. As always, be safe, be kind, and be good to each other. I'm G. Cole, and this is Homegrown.
Of the ungodly, nor stands in the way of sinners, or makes friends with the lofty scorners. But his delight is in the law of Jah, and in his law doth he meditate. And because of this, he can never be moved like a tree are his roots. We are blessed, all Jah children are blessed. Children are blessed. Every day I eat from the fruits of his hand. My heart is filled with gratitude. But I know the tree is where it comes from. I seek him more than what he can do. 'Cause my delight is in the law of Jah, and in his law I meditate. And because of this I can never be moved like a tree are my roots. We are blessed, all Jah children are blessed. We are blessed, all Jah children are blessed. Oh. We are blessed, we are blessed.
Nakikinika sa música, Homegrown with G. Cole.
Estás escuchando Homegrown con G. Cole.
您现在正在收听的是 Homegrown with G. Cole.
You're listening to Homegrown with G. Cole.
Remember, all the music played on the Homegrown podcast is available on iTunes and all your digital retailers. Please support the artist.